Did you know that many of the skills you already have can be your ticket to a thriving tech career?
In this episode, we'll explore the critical transferable skills that can set you up for success in the tech world and how you can start identifying them today. So one of the things that scared me the most when I was looking for my first job was articulating my transferable skills. And I knew what they were, but I didn't think anybody was going to buy them. So this episode lands really close to me. I think the first thing we have to do is to analyze, what have we been doing? What did my responsibilities look like? Doesn't matter what field you come from. I am sure you build with something that you call the system.
Yeah, but also you have to know that this exercise you don't have to do alone now.
No.
You know, especially in this past 18 months,
ChatGPT.
you have AI that can help you at least think through this thing. Because before that, you would have to, go through by yourself and ask yourself these questions. Now it's easier.
You can feed AI your resume and it can tell you these things. But I know we don't put everything on our resume. So sometimes it helps to literally make a extensive list of what do I do? And
what have you done?
What have I done?
What are you proud of?
It doesn't matter if that was 5 years or 10 years ago. If you were interacting with a tool, a system at work, I think there's something you can leverage from that.
Listen, what are you proud of? What have you done in your teens? If you are
what kind of problem solving?
Yeah, if you are a lifeguard, that means you have patience and you can monitor, a screen for hours.
Yeah,
that's a skill you need, because some people, that's what they do.
Yeah,
they monitor, systems.
Yeah, you handle conflicting priorities. You're gonna need that in tech.
Yes.
Because you're gonna have fires that your monitoring system is telling you about. You're gonna have other fires that are coming through email. You're gonna have somebody walking in and telling you there's another problem. What do you do first?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to juggle all those priorities. So you can think about, what problem solving have I done up to today? How did I go about it?
Yeah. And project management, a lot of people don't realize when we talk about project management, we don't only mean formally managing a project with a Gantt chart or a waterfall model and all that. Were you a leader in high school, and how did you lead that particular effort of raising money? That's a project, and you are managing it, and you are giving everybody their role, keeping everybody in their place, keeping everybody in check. That's project management.
Yep.
So when you are thinking about these, you really have to think outside the box. Don't stay in the very specific explanation of the term. Be a little bit more creative when you're looking at these things.
Another big one is, how do you communicate complex ideas? Yeah. Were you some form of TA in school? Do you have any teaching experience? Have you ever had to document something?
Yeah.
Even if it's the schedules of your team.
Yep.
You've had to document something. I think in this modern world, most of us do.
I agree. And
you've had to write a report about an incident.
Yep.
We do that in the tech world.
Yeah, and I read that a lot. People confuse fancy writing with $10,000 words. They confuse it with straightforward, clear, and concise writing.
And it's very funny. If you look for a technical writing course for IT, you're going to think it's like the most fancy thing in the world. Most of the documentation that I've had to write, except the part where I explain architecture, most of it is navigate here, click there, click next, choose this option, lots of screenshots. So
Written in present,
Yeah.
present tense.
yeah, so it's pretty basic.
Yeah, and it should be.
Yes, because you're writing it for all sorts of users.
Exactly. So all these things is important, and you might not realize these are transferable skills that it is important to not only have but articulate to the person
Yeah,
interviewing you.
I'm sure you've been in an environment where you've onboarded a new customer or a new employee. You've had to train them on how to use something.
Yep. Customer service.
We do that.
Another thing people don't think exists in the IT world is customer service, because you are not dealing with with the end user. They don't realize that customer service is still involved. You have customers; they just happen to be internal customers.
Yep.
So you can articulate your customer service skills and show how you're going to be using it.
How you go above and beyond.
Let me ask you this. How do you practice customer service in your environment?
Well, we have different types of users, right? Different types of customers. Some of those are our internal customers. In a infrastructure team, usually those are the teams that build applications. So they'll come to me or they'll come to my team and ask for something. Most of the time, they leave half of the details about what they want out. So my customer obsession in Amazon terms, I have to go back to them and gently extract all the missing information from them, because guess what? Like, I'm paid to build things for them.
Mm-hmm.
So if I don't build things that satisfy their needs, I'm not doing my job right.
Yeah.
So that's one way. Another way is knowing that I have indirect customers. The end users of all these applications that those developers write have needs, and usually they want fast loading times. They don't want to wait any times. So performance is important.
Yep.
Availability is important. Like our systems being up and running all the time is critical.
Yeah. Teamwork too.
Yeah.
If you've had a job, you probably worked in a team.
Yeah.
And articulating how good of a team player you were is very much transferable. You know?
Another big one is to show how your ability to learn new systems and tools.
Yeah. Your ability and your eagerness.
Yeah.
To learn, because
again, let's say you worked at a store. You worked at Staples. And they have a new POS system. Were you one of the champions that first got training and first started to leverage it in your store?
Yeah.
Did you train other people?
Yeah.
Did you figure out something that was not part of the original training? All these kind of things will show your eagerness to learn and to contribute to the team's overall mission.
Yeah, I think building a list of transferable skills, it's also about being a creative.
Yeah, you have to think outside the box.
You have to think outside the box. You have to be creative, and you have to make sure you make that exhaustive list, and you understand how you're gonna be articulating it in interviews.
Yeah, and also in that creativity, you have to let go of your imposter syndrome, because most of the time, the further away we come, like the further away our previous career is from the tech role, the more we think there's nothing that's transferable. But I've learned to not see it that way over time. The further you are, the more likely your future team doesn't have that ability. and that's like the missing part of the puzzle that you're gonna put in.
Yep.
So we kind of touched on this, but your communication skills. Some people excel in tech because they're great storytellers. They can make presentations. They can go and speak to people and evangelize on a new tool, right?
So yeah, so like I said, it's about creating a list, and once you have that final list, now understand how you're gonna articulate it. It's about being creative, making the list, understanding if you had a job, you have transferable skills. Period. If you had a job before getting into tech, you had transferable skills. In fact, even if you didn't have a job, if you were part of your student association in high school, you can actually find a way to articulate transferable skills in there. So it's about how creative you are in general, and you will find ways to connect what you knew before and how you're trying to bring this to this new career you're trying to get in, which is tech.